welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jonas.
It's such a pleasure. You are our first featured guest.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was the first. This is so, you just have it down and planned.
That's nice to hear.
I think you told me, I just never.
Yeah. Well, I hope that that's not too much pressure.
I'm going to set the tone.
Okay, good. Yeah, we met, I think playing at Paragon. Yeah, so that was probably like 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we briefly had a trio. You were the bassist in the Walking Hat trio for a little while.
It's always an honor when a bassist chooses me as their bassist.
I feel like you're everywhere. I see you in a million bands, and then you're teaching, and then you're live streaming, and then you do a million things. How do you have enough energy for all that you do?
Sometimes I overstep it, or it's kind of, it's kind of like taking a gamble. Like, here's this group, I really love playing with them. Do they have the same mindset as me to really make this our careers? The same thing kind of comes up when I'm choosing people for my groups.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people not in music think you have a set band.
Mm-hmm.
In my world, it's I'm the band.
Yeah.
And so whoever can join me is also the band.
Yes. I actually think I kind of learned that from you and a few other people. You were already doing that when I moved to town. And I was like, oh, right. You have to kind of be like an entrepreneur almost. You have to bring this energy of I'm going to find the gigs, I'm going to find the opportunities, I'm going to assemble the people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you assemble professional level people, they're not always available. You have to be able to switch people out. You have to have your charts so that someone can sub in. I've subbed in your band before, and you had everything in order, super streamlined. So definitely have learned a lot from those experiences. But all that's changed.
It's all new world. We're all changing.
And okay, what's changed for you? What's the new world for you?
I have developed quite the media production skills that my father would be proud of, the home studio of his dreams.
Wow.
I've learned how to do video editing, and in the world of Twitch, there's video game streamers, but it's kind of growing where anybody can do anything.
Yeah.
I watched someone put together a puzzle on Twitch. I watched someone make donuts. I watched a lady paint her body.
Wow.
Or they discussion over chess games. So it just seems like a new kind of open mic that's online.
Yes.
But it's just a way to kind of hang out, and I feel like during the time at home, my brain kind of changed and thinking this does feel like I'm hanging out with people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
We had to reset our baseline for what that even is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So some of the music I've been working on is to make myself feel better. Just try to if I act happy, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But then some of it is just to deal with the actual grief of so much stuff that's changed.
Does that feel like new territory for you in terms of writing, or have you always written to process grief?
Sometimes process grief. I really started writing lyrics after I was going through treatment for a tumor and all this stuff as a young person. But I've written this particular song just about needing time to yourself. I know we're in a pandemic and we feel alone, but if you're alone with the same people all the time, maybe you don't.
Right.
But it's, even though I feel like it was just a snapshot and maybe a little exaggeration of what I was feeling at the time, I've gotten so many comments about this is how I feel.
Yeah.
I couldn't put it into words, but you did.
Yeah.
And I feel that made me feel so much like an artist. It's a universal human condition feeling.
Yeah.
But art is really identifies oh yeah, that's the feeling that I can't explicitly define. Right.
That's well said. Can we play that song?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
This is called Time to Myself with Jonas Myers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need to be alone. Maybe take a long drive. Maybe stare at my phone. Maybe just stand in the bathroom for a long, long time. I'm not doing anything special or anything that would raise hell. Baby, I love you, but I need time to myself. I need to get stuff done. I'll be back at 5. I need to see the sun. Or maybe watch that show, you know, the one you don't like. I'm not doing anything special or anything that would raise hell. Baby, I love you, but I need time to myself. Write a new song, but I don't want you to hear it. This could take really long. Sometimes the rhyming pattern doesn't make sense. I'm not doing anything special or anything that would raise. Baby, I love you, but I need time to myself. Not doing anything special or anything that I can't tell. Baby, I love you, but I need time to myself. I need time to myself.
So, am I right that you grew up playing music with your dad?
Yeah, I did. I played, he was a piano player, jazz musician, new age musician.
Wow.
And he got my older brother on drums, and I was playing trombone. He brought home an electric bass, and he's like, it reads the same notes. I'm like, okay. And I think he knew that if I wanted to play music, either professionally or casually, like I'd always have opportunities as a bass player. Because he was playing left-hand bass on his and like keys, so he was usually doing 2 parts when he played his gigs. Yeah, and actually one of his friends just sent me a video of the first gig I ever had, and we're playing a bunch of Louis Prima
Oh my
stuff.
God! How old
I
were
could
you?
send you a clip, but
that'd be great.
I think it was 13, but it was my first paid gig. It was like $75.
Wow.
That's pretty good even for today.
Yeah,
like,
right. I would take that. Yeah.
Chicken, nice fried chicken, barbecue chicken. Won't you send it down the line? Everyone's talking about chicken. Chicken's a popular word. Well, you can call it this, you can call it that. The chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Woohoo.
Wow. So I don't know if you knew this. I also played gigs with my dad growing up, so we had that in common. And like, so I'm assuming you played throughout middle and high school, and then you went to music school, right?
Yeah.
How did you make that choice?
Well, in high school I was able to be part of the Bellevue Community College, or Bellevue College now.
Yeah.
And we got to travel to Prague and Peru when I was 17. And I'm like, this is great. I want to figure out how to travel and play music. Because you get to make like a certain connection with folks, even if you can't speak the language.
Right.
And then I went to Central Washington University, and they were really nice. They really wanted me. They really wanted me there. It always feels good to be wanted.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever doubt it as a professional path? It's not an easy path.
The dream was not even to finish school, right? Because you're too busy touring.
Right.
So that didn't happen. I graduated.
Bummer.
Dang it. I worked on cruise ships as a bass player and that.
Wow.
maybe because I was going through the tumor stuff when I was 20. That first started.
Yeah.
And so when I was I switched gears and I was studying computer science.
Oh, wow.
And doing other things, and I had like a big breakdown.
Wow.
For me, like I thought I was pretty even kilter. Like I had, and I realized like I would rather be struggling, hustling, playing music, than that kind of stuff.
That's so because I mean when you get a diagnosis like that at such a young age, it's so terrifying. I mean we've connected over health issues, and you know like I've got my own health stuff, autoimmune stuff, and like it is overwhelming to think like how am I going to be insured? You know when they were like maybe going to repeal Obamacare.
Oh my gosh.
That was like extremely intense. Like it's so weird to like owe a lot to John McCain, you know, but we kind of do, right? the dear departed John McCain. But yeah, so you almost chose this other path to kind of have more security, but it just didn't feel right.
It didn't feel. It made me think like I was planning for something I had no control over.
Right. That's what it is, isn't it? So. Okay, so then you kind of like doubled down on music and...
Yeah, it happened that I was kind of making my way, being known in the teaching avenue, and jazz ed was really starting to go then. They hired me for a bunch of stuff. And at the same time, Washington Middle School hired me for stuff, some jazz clinics started hiring. So I was able to let go of some of the other things I was doing. And actually I moved back home.
Yeah, that is our theme for today, coming home.
And that's such a privilege, I feel. Like sometimes it's hard, but it's a privilege that other people don't have.
Yeah.
And I was able to take that time to build a little bit of a following. Like hindsight, I feel so silly, like thinking that, oh, I'm playing here at this tiny club and I'm gonna get discovered. I should have been making all these videos years ago.
Well, you know, it's like the landscape is always shifting and you're kind of always catching up to it.
Yeah.
You know, right? And maybe there was an era where you get discovered at the tiny club. I don't know. Maybe not. Like, are you waiting to be discovered? Is that still the hope?
No, I just want
to.
I just want to work.
Yeah, right.
I just want to work and travel. Have a little place.
Yeah.
Like, a little place where I can play music where the neighbors don't get too mad.
Yeah.
But I've met some really cool people, like, and I felt really proud I was able to bring one of the members of Pearl Jam into a jazz ed project.
Whoa.
And it's a video that we released this month. Oh, I can talk about that.
Yeah, please tell us about it.
So in the past at Jazz Ed, we offered free assemblies for Black History Month, just talking about the history of jazz.
Yeah.
And it's like a Black American art form that's open for everybody, and it's something that people have done for forever just to feel better.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what we need now.
Yes.
So this was the first year we wouldn't be able to go, and so we hustled, and in December we filmed the assembly, and it's on YouTube now, available for people to watch.
How do we find it?
Jazz Ed, Seattle Jazz Ed YouTube channel, or seattlejazzed.org. And it's designed for elementary age kids, but it's like top Seattle players.
Amazing. So another thing we have a lot in common, I feel like. And another thing we have in common, we both grew up in this area and both returned here to make careers in music. And I don't know about you, like one of the things I didn't really understand how good the musicians here are. I don't think it's unique to Seattle, but it's like there are good musicians everywhere, and it's not like, oh, if they didn't go to New York, it means they're not the best. Like, no, they really are just as good. Like, you can find musicians here that are as good as anyone in the world, you know, and it's kind of amazing when you realize the depth of talent just in a city, like, it's not even a huge city, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
There's a really big gap between, like, starving artists and, like, highly recognized musician.
Yeah.
You need all sorts of people for all sorts of things.
And the high recognition doesn't necessarily correspond to the most talent. I mean, I think you have to have a certain level to get there, but it's also luck and timing and who you know. And so there are plenty of people who, they have the talent, they even have the hard work for it, and it's just like, it didn't click in that way, but they're still playing music and making a life out of it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was nice for me to discover, that there's like ample room between those two poles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of, well, it also reminds me of a quote by Skerritt, a renowned local artist.
Yes.
He said, "You don't have to be good, you have to be you."
That's
so I know
good.
the most I've struggled is when I was trying to like fit into something or like just
Yeah.
figure out what other people want to hear.
Yeah.
So not only was I not happy with myself or
Mm.
depressed, but then I don't know, maybe it was trying too hard
Right.
for other folks. So
So that's kind of another version of coming home that we're gonna be like exploring in the episode is like there's coming home to the place, but there's coming home to yourself.
yeah.
So like, do you have a moment or like a time in your life when you kind of had that realization?
Oh boy. Yes. It always felt like in academia there was this really push to do hard bop and learn how to shred that way and do
Mhm.
that, and letting go of like the stress of having to do that and not really wanting to do that
Yeah.
was great. Because I used to think that's what, oh, like then I'll go to New York, I'll play like that.
Yeah, the real deal jazz, whatever. Yeah.
But that's not the kind of music I want to play,
Right.
or that necessarily touches me in the way that I want to touch other people.
Right.
So that, and then so finding the balance between that like upper level kind of jazz harmony and then just the super simple pop
Right.
music.
Well, I feel like when you're in that realm of artists that we talked about, where you're not like the superstar and you're not this starving artist, like
Yeah.
you kind of have to be able to do a lot,
Mhm.
right? You have to be able to play a lot of different styles, and you know, I realized pretty quickly if I turn down the smooth jazz gig at the casino, that's just money I don't get, you know? Right? And then when I went and did it, it was like, oh, this is actually really fun, and all these cats can play so well.
Yeah.
So like that, whatever like snobbery that would have
Mhm.
kept me from entering that world was only holding me back, you know, and like music is universal, and like the more you can kind of just try out different styles and approaches, like you just learn more, right?
Yeah, I mean right now I'm playing a church gig where it's like modern contemporary Christian rock.
Yeah.
I got like a bass pedal set up. I've never had that. So I'm learning new things,
Yes.
like incorporating, taking what I like, but
Yes.
since I've had all this opportunity, I don't feel like that's something I have to like try to fit into.
Yeah.
It's something I can do and then like leave it there
Yeah.
and then go do my weird stuff at home that I want to do. That usually other people on the internet will find. I feel like people on the internet are trying to find like their niche thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you put out what you really are, like they're gonna have people that are
Yeah.
gonna be down.
Yeah. Here's hoping anyway. Well, thanks so much for coming by and talking to us. Why don't we do another song?
Okay. Love to.